the big day people were expecting to see the accord being signed between the President Kagame and Tshisekedi and with the President Laurent in the middle was in December 15. In December 15, we should end a long process of dialogue and discussing with Rwandan side since July 2022. The President Kagame didn't show up. And at this moment, just after, it means that he decided to send his military coming to fight in DRC. Since then, there is 13 South African soldiers who died. We want to pay our condolences to their families and to your country. And we are very grateful for all the President Ramaphosa and people from South Africa have been doing to help to bring peace in this part of DRC. At the same moment, we show that Rwanda was targeting not only displaced people by bombing their camp, but they've been targeting even peacekeepers from the United Nations. As you can see, 3 of them all died, and a lot of infrastructure was very damaged. That's why they decided to come to do the war inside the city of Goma, where you have millions of people. And actually, currently, what is going on there is massacre. Our military defend massively this part of the country, but you know, it was in the middle of the city. The duty of military is to protect people. They did their best to avoid what's happening in some area in Goma, and it's very unfortunate that you see that President Kagame, despite the fact that we've been talking, he decided to continue to kill people because he wants to keep his hand on mineral resources in this part of DRC.
Leave Rwanda. Why not engage people who are in that country so that people don't take advantage of some people who might not be happy about what's happening in the DRC?
Let me be clear on that question, because you started speaking about Sun City. We all remember in Sun City there is one rebel movement we call RCD. RCD was created by Rwanda, funded by Rwanda, and Rwanda military been fighting with them since. Let me remember you that once the DRC decided to join this Eastern African community, it was around April 2022. The head of state of this region agreed that we should have in DRC 2 types of initiatives. The first is the political one, where the government of Democratic Republic of Congo should engage with all armed groups according to speak with them, to listen to the indication, and to see the way we can deal with that. That was one side of the question. The second side was, of course, the discussion we are having with Rwanda around the president Angola, the Angolan president. Especially on the issue of armed group, the President Uhuru Kenyatta started the process. He came in DRC. He went all over the place where you can find each people acting as armed group, and they all agreed to stop. Even the President Tshisekedi had time to engage with them personally, saying that you have the right to come back in the country. What brings the mess in this is M23. Because once we've been talking with all these different armed groups, Rwanda decided to give them ammunition and support, so they start killing people, gaining some part of the territory. The issue you raised before about especially Tutsi ethnic, what Kagame is saying that they are a victim of hate speech, it's totally true, not true. Why? Because in DRC government, we have the infrastructure minister who's from Tutsi community. Even in the army, one of our top generals are from this community. You know, DRC is a very huge country where we have 450 different tribes, and we are doing our best as they want to make sure we all are loving and living in the same country, and we don't have those kind of hate speech, etc. Here, even if it was true, the President Kagame cannot pretend to protect a community by killing others' community. People from DRC doesn't have in any way asked President Kagame to be their defender. And even if he wants to be the defender, he should make sure is acting in a good way to make sure he's advocating for them if there is any problem. It's not by killing people, it's not by committing massacre, it's not by continuing to loot our mineral resources, especially the mining resources. So the main problem we have in the region is President Kagame. It's clear, because the President Tshisekedi, since day one, he was very open for peace. And we did our best to make sure we build a good relationship with Rwanda until President Kagame decided to act as he's been doing for the 30 past years, because he built the Rwandan economy by stealing mineral in DRC.
What?
And if we stop, he won't be able to continue to build this country. That's the truth.
Well, you spoke about the East Africa community that came with a process to ensure there's peace and security. Both Rwanda and DRC are members of the East Africa community. But it is the very same DRC that didn't want to continue with the EAC process that was led by President Kenyatta. You even missed the meeting now. What is the problem? Why you don't have confidence in the EAC process?
It's clear here that, as I was explaining you previously, there was two processes. There was a political process, and there was a military process for those, especially armed groups, who will refuse to join the political process. And the only one armed group who refused to join the political process is M23, because it was backed by Rwanda. And I'm so sorry, the Eastern African force didn't do what they have to do as duty to protect the people, as the mandate made that clear. What we have seen in the ground, it was seeing some of the soldiers of EAC taking picture with M23. So we couldn't continue with them because they were not there to help to solve the issue. That's why we decide to take the consequence of this attitude. And then we cannot understand, if we are all members of this community, how come the Eastern African community cannot condemn what is going on in DRC, especially what the President Kagame is doing with his military?
But why you didn't attend a meeting this week so that you express your view clearly? Because when you don't participate and make your views known, people think you are avoiding to confront these issues.
We cannot avoid to confront these issues. Let me say that on December 15, where all the world were waiting the President Kagame to come in Rwanda, he didn't come. He didn't show up. And let me remember you that in Rwanda, we have the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. We've been there because he's the guy who's leading the political process. It means that we sign, once we sign the agreement with Rwanda, the President Kenyatta will start the political talk with armed group, including M23. It's clear. So today, the president, with what is going on in Doma, he couldn't take part of the meeting because all the head of state of Eastern African community knows what is the problem in the East. They know the problem is President Kagame. They know exactly what they have to do to solve the issue. They can today ask M23 to cease fire and to be out of DRC. It's simple. So it wasn't necessary for the president to be there. As long as all the president know what is going on in the East, they didn't show a lot of solidarity for the Congolese people. And even now, I think they should talk strong, not only statement, but they should take decision to ask clearly to President Kagame to leave his military of our own territory. That's one of the reasons why you are in an organization. You need to be supportive for each other. And we didn't see support coming from this organization. Sorry. And
then there's a view from M23 and from President Kagame that you are hosting the genocidaires, the FDLR. You are fighting side by side with them. Clearly that is discrediting your cause. If you are hosting those people who allegedly committed genocide in Rwanda.
Thank you so much for this question. Let me be clear with that. FDLR are Rwandan. FDLR don't kill Rwandan. They kill Congolese people. FDLR destroy the environment in DRC. We all know that there is more Rwandan refugees in DRC than Congolese refugees in Rwanda. Let me come back to what I was explaining you before. You remember the genocide. I was saying that millions of people coming from Rwanda came. We are in 1994. It's almost 31 years later. So how can you think, how can you believe that those FDLR who come 30 years ago are still strong to fight the Kagame's regime in Rwanda? This is a pretext. It's not true. Let me explain you. We, as government of DRC, we fight along with Rwanda during the President Kabila's period against FDLR. We by ourselves, we fight FDLR. We made a lot of progress. And Rwandan intelligence knows, because we've been working with them together, that we sent back some of them in Rwanda years ago. They know that the truth is not the way they are saying. One thing this year, I should remind it, that once we were in Nairobi process, we all agreed that each country should speak with this armored group. Why the President Kagame is refusing to engage with those Rwandans? They speak the fact that he is accusing them for being genocidal for 6, even 30 years ago. Can you imagine those who had like 30 years? Today they are 60, they have almost the same age than President Kagame, are still able to fight. Rwanda at the beginning of this process has a three pretext, three reasons why they were invading DRC. The first reason, they were saying that in DRC we have hate speech, and I just answer you on that. The second reason was saying that DRC, as we are not solving the issue of refugees. Let me tell you, as I was telling you, there is more Rwandan refugees in DRC than Congolese refugees in Rwanda. Even on that question, with the High Commissioner for Refugees in Geneva, we agree on what we have to do in order to send, to bring back some of Congolese within there. But how come you think that you can ask those people to come back in their country, where in the same area they are supposed to live, Rwanda is bombing? The third reason was the presence of FDLR. Let me tell you that on that question, as I told you before, we've been fighting against them because they make drama here in DRC. The thing is that if there is some Tutsi, some people from Rwanda in DRC, all of them are FDLR. What we need to do now, the President Kagame should engage with this part of Rwandan community so they can find a peace agreement. We as DRC, we don't need FDLR in our country because they are bringing drama, first the Congolese people, and they are bringing trouble in the relationship with Rwanda. That's why around the presidents, the Angolan president, we agree on all these questions. Our military agreed, our foreign minister agreed, and everybody knows that now in the paper we have the solution why the President Kagame didn't show up in Rwanda to make sure now we start a new period for the region, a new place or people can ask him. So what we have seen after he didn't show up in Rwanda is war. It's clear that the President Kagame doesn't want peace. It's clear that the President Kagame will continue to find a reason to continue his activities in eastern part of DRC. And we all know his main activities is putting his hands on our mineral resources so he can continue to have money, continue to build this country. That's the truth. It's clear that now, today, United Nations and all the countries all over the world should take strong sanction on Rwanda for backing M23, for invading territory of DRC, for killing innocent people.
Do you agree that an inclusive dialogue is needed, irrespective how people feel? That can be a lasting solution so that everybody is there and whatever agreement is reached, everybody agrees and implement that agreement. If not, the international community must act. Do you agree that that will be the best option?
This best option is on way, is working in Rwanda. Because in Rwanda process, Rwanda process was a mix of Nairobi process, one side, and discussion between DRC and Rwandan side. Today, we have all the solution in the paper. Let me tell you that we, as DRC, we never say no to dialogue. Okay. We never ever say no to dialogue. It's clear that the dialogue, as it was decided by head of state in Nairobi process, will be organized around the President Uhuru Kenyatta. The President Uhuru Kenyatta is the mediator because in the eastern part of DRC, the armed group, the armed M23 is not only the only one armed group. You see, that's one level. The second level is what we've been doing with Rwandan side, with Angola in the middle. So today, what you are saying is, it was already done, but here there is one person who's blocking all the process. His name is the President Kagame. That's why he should be sanctioned. There is needs to put more pressure on him and to make sure that he can get involved to come back in the peace conversation so we can solve the issue. It's clear that if you have to listen to his narrative, even in front of the South African president, you can see that what he wants, President Kagame, is not peace.
South Africans are worried. They don't know what's happening to their sons and daughters, mothers, fathers, uncle. I'm talking about the SADC troops.
So, that's the sad part of the story. How can you understand that the President Kagame can give to his army the authorization to attack peacekeeper for the United Nations, to attack a soldier from some this DRC?
No, that you have already pointed out to. You even saying the international community must take action. But I'm saying, tell us, how is our troops? We are told they are in a dire situation.
Anytime, actually in Goma, no one is in a good situation. And that's why we are working with international community to find a solution more quickly, because Rwandan army is committing massacre in the city. But what I've heard for the past days, we know that there is a South African soldier inside, some years inside. We should thank them because they've been there, they've been very helpful in order to protect populations. And we know now there is a kind of discussion about the way we will make sure they're not attacked or they're not victim of any kind of attack from Rwandan side. And that's the point today. And we are working, even today we have a meeting with MONUSCO, with all the government, to see the way we can give answer to all those soldiers we deserve to have to be in condition of accomplishing their duty. We are working on that, and you can continue to watch closely. And I'm sure nothing will happen to them.